Hi there. After you have got your login information and you go into the Lego page and you choose your layout, which is what this screen is right here, to import your images that you'll use, come up to this upper right hand corner. You're going to click the Import Image button and you can go in and get files off of your computer. So you'll have wanted to load those ahead of time. Find one that I want. Click OK. May get one more. Okay, so I've added a few images. So your first button is your images. Your second button over here are your backgrounds. Third button is where you can enter text. And that last button is a little special clip art that you can use to beef up your cartoons. I'm going to go ahead and put a backdrop in. So I drag it and drop it, and there it is. Over here, you can resize it so you can zoom in if you just want the front door of that house. You can zoom in tight. You can also rotate it with this button right here if that's what you want to do. And then I'm going to go in and get one of my characters. So I think I'll choose this one. Drag and drop him in the same frame. And you can move him around. I want to clean up that background so you see the house that I put in there. So clicking the erase button over here will give me this window. You can choose two different erasers. This one has more clean edges. This has a softer edge. I'm going to go with this one. And it looks black around it at first. But once you hit that done button, everything but your image will be clear. So you'll be able to see your backgrounds back there. You can adjust to get into your tighter spots. You can go down with a little bit tighter eraser size. I'm going to go down a little bit more, especially when I get up here around his helmet. Maybe when I'm going in around his hands. I'll need something a little smaller brush. Now there's not an undo button in this erase window, so if you erase too much, you will have to start over. So I've blacked out all of the background. So if I click done, now you can see the background through there. So with this image, I can make him bigger. If I want to, I can make him smaller. If I want to put him on the street or next to the building, I can do so like this. Okay, if we wanted to add text or add some words, drag and drop. Double click the words to type your own. Add an extra C in there. Alright, so now you can see I've got this. Down here, I can change the font. It has a few different selections. And I can change the font size. I can make it centered, or flush left or flush right. You can still drag it around, and I want to change this so it looks like it's coming from him. And I also want to put a question mark in there. Okay. Now if I wanted to add a special effect, not a special effect so much, but clip art, I can just drag and drop that. I do want to turn it around. Leave it on there. I can go to my next screen, decide what background I'm going to use for this one. I'm going to probably stick with the same one so that we can see continuity in our story. And I don't have a scene change just yet. I want to show you one thing. If you do drag your character over, your image over first, and you go in and do some erasing around it, I'm just going to do it quick. pretend that I erased all the way around it. I put that in there, and then I chose my background. Whatever you choose last is going to be on the top, but this button down here on that image will send it to the back. And if you hover over the tools, it will tell you send backward, send forward. If you want to get rid of that image, I'm going to send that back. So I've got my man here. I don't want to keep that man. I want to choose something different, so just click that button right there. Okay, on here, if you want to choose effects, you can also change what your character looks like a little bit. So now he can be red. And these are just the basics on how you'll get started with your story. Up here in the top left corner, you can start a new project. You can open an existing one. You can save your project. And if it's okay with your teacher, you can print your project. Under Save, there are two options. You can save the project to work on it later, or you can export as a PDF. If you export as a PDF, you can't go back in later and make any changes. So if you think you're going to want to come back in there and work on it, make sure you do Save Project File to work on later. Make sure you use your name in the title and give it the name according to what your teacher's instructions are. And make sure you save it to the folder that you're supposed to save it to. Okay, so my story has been saved. That's just a brief introduction of how to use the basic tools.